There we go. Hey, thank you for letting me know. I am now all the lives on YouTube. Still not seeing Twitch chat. Twitch changed its dashboard for those of you who maybe don't use Twitch but watch a lot of it. So all of us broadcasters are having to learn a new thing here. Twitch chat. I popped it out. Why you no give me chat? Alright. Alright, did that work? Nope, I'm still just seeing a ghost. Gosh darn it. Alright, fine. I may have to do this the more difficult way. Alright. There we are. Pro tip, in case you're brand new and just experiencing this yourself, you have to pop out the chat not from switching to non-mod mode like you did up until this point, but instead by clicking on the three little dots in your stream manager. Yeah, so Twitch is just in the middle of, like I say, switching over to a whole new dashboard setup here, and so it's some learning pains, I guess. Hey, from Pakistan, Shawad. Nice to see you. I'm sorry if I mangled your name. I'm not good at that. The new Twitch is annoying. I know, the new thing is always bad, you know? I'll get used to it. But until then, expect even more mistakes than usual. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Court of the Rings here on twitch.tv/LotroStream, youtube.com/LordofTheRings/live, and facebook.com/Lotro. Today is kind of a casual day. I'm going to be running around, continuing Shades in the Swamp here. Looks like I'm going to be fighting some Shades and finding a dude. Also, here to talk about anything you want to throw at me, and talk a little bit about what we have going on. So welcome. Appreciate you being here. I want to thank everyone who tuned in last Friday on the darkest of all U.S. Fridays, Black Friday, for our Movember thing that I did for a couple hours there. We crossed our goal of $2,000, and that's thanks to your help. So I really appreciate you taking part in that. Current status and all the Extra Life in Movember stuff is I am way behind. The response this year was overwhelming, which is great. But it also means I literally have like 400 and some people to message back. And that takes a while. So I'm working on it, but it's going to be a little while yet. I still want to get it all done before the holiday break, though. And I think that that's a realistic plan. But I know that, especially people who donated, let's say, for Extra Life, first thing in October, you're probably sitting there going, why does it take them so long to get me back my stupid codes? I hear you. I'm sorry. It always takes me too long to do this. Maybe in future years I could find a better way to do it, so I'm not having to deal with this kind of thing. But until then, it's a manual process of me working in the evenings. Generally, I work till 6, 7 o'clock, and then I'll... What? Where's the coin? I'll work till 6, 7 o'clock, and then I'll put another hour or two dealing with Extra Life in November and what have you. And so that's the process as it's been in recent weeks. But of course, we had a snowstorm this weekend. We ended up actually getting quite a bit of snow around where I live. So this past Monday, Tuesday was kind of a weird non-work day, if you know what I mean. So it's an odd one. So I'm a little behind, but hopefully that'll get caught up in the near future. The prizes for the Raffle on Extra Life, that is my next course of business. So at this point, I've been able to... There we are. At this point, I've been able to... Second. No, I'm not going to do that yet. All right. The drawings have been done, and next on the list is to go through all the group incentive drawings for Extra Life, get those out potentially even today, tomorrow-ish. I'm thinking of actually heading into the office tomorrow, being a Saturday, and just kind of putting in an afternoon to make headway on this thing. So hopefully I can get back in touch with you in the near future on that. And then once the group incentives are done, I'm going to be doing Extra Life incentives, Lotro, and DDO. Then I've got Movember group incentives, and then I've got Movember individual incentives. That's sort of the rough outline I've set for myself here to do. And the reason I separate out group incentives from individual incentives is just for my own bookkeeping, so I can better get a sense of who's been doing what. And what I've all given out and that kind of thing. I have not heard of any plans to reduce the cost of the Veils of Anduin. Yes, that is true. People are talking about are still in the works plan to do... Sorry, let me do a thing here. To do race changes, there will still be class restrictions. You cannot change into a race to be a class that you cannot be. No info as to when. That's true. It hasn't even gone through QA yet, so it's going to be a little while yet, I think. But it is something we are absolutely planning to do. The idea of a gender change, I think, sounds doable to me. It just isn't currently something we have on our agenda. But you know, it sounds like something given time and player interest we could totally do. When did I start playing a champion? Pretty recently, and to some controversy. You know, one of the things I've been told to do for a couple of years now, frankly, is to start playing more relevant content, and to quote, you know, get that stuff done. So I valored my way out, and then I saw a bunch of comments of like, you know, I can't believe you valored up, and I was like, well, I'm trying, people. I'm trying to do what you want. But I hear you. Sure. But yeah, so that's what happened. And a couple of weeks ago, frankly, with the release of Minas Morgul and that pretty cool Valor 120, if I do say so myself, I decided to roll up a champion and start playing level 120 content. I still have Dwinstrel, and I was playing that person not even all that long ago. So I'm not saying never on kind of leveling up the old-fashioned way. But at least short-term here, I really do want to make sure I am playing some more relevant content, so... Yeah, we would have to deal with the quote dwarf issue if we were to do some kind of gender change thing, but I don't know. I know it's one of the most hot button issues of all time ever on the forums, but I myself feel that strongly about it. If it were up to me, I'd be like, fine, whatever. So you're a female dwarf, who cares? But clearly lots of people care, so... let me not open that can of worms. But my personal opinion is a total meh. I'm down. So. I always say you shouldn't Valar a class you've never played before, Terry Adwin says, but if you're going to Valar a class you've never played, can't go wrong with Champion. So, my ill-informed opinion on Champions is related to my probably ill-informed opinion about video games in general, which is that when given a choice, I tend to... and I want to play, quote, something a little easier on myself, I tend to go for, like, the kind of fighter types. And this felt like a pretty kind of fightery type sort of thing for me. So that's really the only reason I picked Champion. That plus I saw a thread on the forums where they were like, Champions need a bunch of work. They totally can't play endgame. And if Cordova never played one in the live stream, he'd know that. So I was like, well... all right, well, let's give it a shot, see what happens. Jury remains out. Ask me in 6 months. So as you can tell, very heavily thought out process there, based entirely on a blip in the radar where someone suggested I play Champion on the forums. So, yeah. Yep, so I did the thing. Planetary says, will transfers be available till the end of the year? No, transfers are currently not available. And we have nothing to announce in regard to that. So I reiterated on the forums yesterday that, you know, the latest information I have, which is that as soon as I know something, you'll know something. And I promise to let you know something as soon as I know something. And the follow-up to that was to accuse me of, quote, what was the phrase that got used? No comment was the phrase that got used. And sure, that's fine. Although it wasn't no comment. It was like the opposite of that. It was a total comment, you know? And that's fine, like I say, but I did comment, and I commented with the absolute latest information I had. So, which is, as soon as I know more, you'll know more. I wish I could just snap my fingers and you know, give you a concrete date, but I can't do that until I can do that, you know? As soon as we know that people are very interested in doing character transfers, and it's something we want to get done as soon as possible. But we're not there yet. Champs are off tanks at best. Guess we'll see. Best uses AoE melee damage. Yeah, that seems to be the case. I'm certainly digging my AoE damage on this character so far. I just went straight yellow. And again, that was based on a forum post of saying, quote, yellow line is useless. And I was like, well, I guess let's see. You know. Nothing more to it than that, to be honest. Plus, I figured, what I'll probably end up doing here is invest pretty much straight into each spec. Give it a shot for a while, and just kind of see how it feels different, and then kind of make a determination of maybe what I want my, quote, for realsies mix to be. Okay, where are... Up there, northwest. Okay, I've already been to Sharky Slough, so... Heading out a little bit. Vastin is working on a little bit of PVMP work, which you'll hear more about in the near future. I want to make sure I keep the scope in check, so I don't want to say too much about that at this point, because I'm worried that if people just hearing that he's planning to do some work might kind of lead people to over-expect results. But I do think there is some work that's going to be done in the near future. And then also, I believe he's working on some other fairly complex system-y sort of things. But I don't have much more visibility than that. You know what I miss most about my minstrel? The headbutt. You're a headbutt. Yeah, I know. Yes, Groll Mari. That is probably, to the extent we have it outside of sales info, the biggest news that I can impart today, which is that we are working on a patch for next week. Stay tuned on an exact ETA. I think it's going to be Thursday. And it's largely to get ready for the Yuletide Festival. There's also some kind of Minas Morgul related kind of polish work involved. And a few other things. I'm not ready to go through the notes yet because I was working on them yesterday. And I have kind of a first draft, as it were, in place. But there's so much stuff there that it has a question mark about whether it's even in the build that I'm concerned about even kind of hinting about what might be in the patch, other than sort of using fairly generic language of Minas Morgul polish and Yuletide Festival work. And it also isn't happening till Thursday, so there's a whole bunch of other stuff that could get checked in between now and then. And that will most likely be the final patch of 2019. Now I gotta get way west. So that also means, presuming that all this stuff happens, and there's no reason to think it wouldn't, that Yuletide Festival is going to kick off next Thursday at 10 a.m. Eastern and run through the 6th of January, if I'm recalling correctly off the top of my head. There's some new rewards in it this year. The event schedule I recognize is pretty sparse at the moment. The reality is, with all the Black Friday planning and 2020 planning and things like that, we just haven't, on the marketing side, had at all any time to worry about the 2020 event schedule. So, whoa, how far up do I have to go? Huh. I might be taking the long way around, huh? Alright. Is there an easier way to get up there? Yes. No follow-up necessary on these extra life codes. I've got everyone's stuff. I just have not had an well, I've been working on it. It's not to say I haven't been working on it. Quite the opposite. I just have not actually gotten to the point of reversing the flow, as it were, from incoming to outgoing. And that's something I'm going to be doing in the near future. As a matter of fact, I'll be doing a little bit of that, I believe, this afternoon / evening. And then I'll be continuing to work on it pretty much every night until it gets done. And I have no idea how long that's going to be. Like I say, current count is something like 478 people I have to get back in touch with. And that's it's not a small number, so it's going to take me a little while. But that's a good problem to have, because that means people were super generous and a whole lot of you donated. And so, hey, I don't want to complain. But it does mean that it's going to take me a little while. Yep, just send me an Extra Life notification via PM in the forums, and I know I have not gotten back to everyone, because, like I said, just the process of acknowledging 478 emails I had to be like, well, do I do that, or do I actually just start turning around and getting people's stuff? And I've opted for the latter rather than the former. But that also means that there's a whole bunch of people kind of sitting there going, did you get my private message? And the answer is yes, I did. And I'm working in, like I said, I may even actually kind of give up my Saturday here just to spend an afternoon taking care of this, because it'll make a whole bunch of people's lives better if I can get that done. So. At the moment, I have nothing I can offer for advice in terms of if you feel you, quote, need to utilize world transfer in order to play with your kinnies. In the short term, you're just going to have to roll up a character, because we don't have the ability to resolve that for you short term. Someone asked basically when the next DDO stream is, because they have a specific DDO question. Thank you, by the way. For obvious reasons, I can't answer the other game's questions on the other game's live stream, because we don't want to make Lotro people feel like they need to watch a DDO stream and vice versa. But I'll be streaming next Wednesday. Feel free to ask me then. Will we eventually be able to get the newest expansion using Lotro points? Yes, as a matter of fact. You can find out when that is by going to our Minas Morgul FAQ. I believe we even give a price point on it. Do Universal Toolkits still drop from Hobbit gifts? I don't know what the current list is, but I'm pretty sure we pretty much booted all the old stuff and replaced it with new stuff. So I'm tempted to say possibly not. Chromite, agility classes getting more warden tanking loot than DPS loot. Any chance we can get that fixed? That is something that would be a question for our systems team. I wouldn't want to speak on their behalf without talking to them. No, tickets cannot be filed for manual transfers. There's no way our customer service team has the bandwidth to do manual transfers. No way. Yep. No, this isn't about the exploit that was going on. This is about a technical limitation post-server work. We need our software engineers to do some additional our software engineers need to do some tech work to re-enable character transfers. And that work has not yet been done. Correct. You cannot mill the carryalls. Actually, I think I'm... Is this Tall Send? I didn't actually catch the name of this place. Is this that last place? That's Kids Locala. That's the last check mark I got, right? That's the one, huh? Okay, actually I have to go back a ways. So where's my bind point? Let me check that. Bjorninghus? Is that shorter than where I'm at? Not really. All right. Can I launch the game at all? Yeah. Oh, that's because they're asking someone, Vistor. I need to know what's is preventing you from launching the game client. Generally, the first culprit in recent times would be that you probably need to, run the DirectX end user runtime that you can get from the Microsoft website. And the reason for that is that there's a DX12 incompatibility issue. It's supposed to be backwards compatible, but it kind of isn't. And so when you run the DirectX end user runtime, you will get that compatibility back, and then Locher will launch for you. That is typically experienced in trying to launch the launcher and it, quote, disappearing as soon as you try to sign in. That's the main culprit for that particular one. So if that's your issue, then hopefully that's your solution. Another thing that's usually worth trying, just kind of regardless of the problem, as a first step, is to try running the executable as a administrator. Just kind of right-click run as admin. And that'll also solve the problem for a fair number of times. All right, let me head on over to YouTube here. Nothing to announce regarding the next on classwork. Like I say, I kind of think the next might be more PVMP related than classwork related, and that's just kind of due to demand. But, you know, it's a never-ending process that will never end. But I have not heard of anything specifically about a timetable on Champions. I believe this computer is Windows 10. Any more region touch-ups by scenario? Why, yes, I do believe we will see that. Typically what we're doing is kind of touching on some of that work as the legendary server hits the region. And so I would expect to see more of that kind of thing as we continue to roll out the various updates to the legendary worlds. Felnul, I am deliberately not going to get into scope of PVMP work. Sorry, I don't dare. Legendary servers will get the next update in the new year. We're done with Legendary update, or Legendary Worlds for 2019 here, so it'll be early next year when we see the next update there. All right, back to here. So, to get a little salesperson-y for a second, I want to make sure you're aware that as of yesterday and continuing through the month of December, we're going to be kicking off our Yuletide savings again. So what that means is, in addition to our regular weekly sales, we're doing special one-offs at generally items in several tiers. One is like 35, 50, 75% off is the typical beat on that thing. So, for example, if you don't have Legacy of the Necromancer and the other one, there we go, Where Dragons Dwell, you can get that for 75% off through November 12th. 50% off High Elf, 35% off Enhanced Rep Supply. And that's going to be continuing through the month of December, in addition to our regular sales. So, might be a good time to keep an eye on things. Social media and the launcher, because this stuff's going on the launcher, too. I don't have anything to announce regarding the legendary item work that is still being planned for some point here. I get asked about it every week, but unfortunately I never really have much to say on it until we actually get closer to the thing. Someone's asking about the financials of our expansions release. Sorry, I can't get into proprietary stuff like that. Nothing to announce, Martina, on our carry-alls, crafting or otherwise, showing up in the Lotro store. As soon as we have more to announce there, we will let you know. Oh my gosh, you're here!
Son of no blood, son of no blood.
Actually, you know what? Wandering Glooms here. I can get that done. We're not publicly traded, so the idea of like you know, shareholders, you know, that comes up a lot in kind of forum talk. You know, oh, they're just doing it to appease their shareholders, and it's like, well, we don't actually have any of those, but sure, you know. Among the most ridiculous things I can talk about right now is the question that you're frankly asking in chat. Am I going to grow back my beard? Because I'm sure everyone's deeply interested in hearing the answer to that. The answer is I don't know, actually. I have thought about that just in recent days. There was a time where I would have said, oh, of course. But, you know, I'm a little sensitive sometimes on things, I guess. And I've taken to heart a few of the comments from you lovely ladies of Lotro who have sent me a couple messages suggesting that perhaps I not grow the beard back because it, quote, makes me look younger. And so I don't know. Maybe I should keep the beard off for a little while. So historically, I've always wanted it because I've got what I've called a snook chin. When you look at old family photos dating back, frankly, like the 1900s, we all have this kind of weird fat waddle or whatever you want to call it on the underside of our chin. And so the beard has been good to kind of take care of that, or at least sort of frame my face a bit. But I don't know, you know. Any plans on getting the, quote, rights to the Peter Jackson Lord of the Rings soundtrack? No. I see no world in which that takes place. Younger and less trustworthy. Nice. Wait a second, I thought you're not supposed to trust anyone over 30, not anyone under 30. Isn't that what the phrase is? Yeah. I tend to agree, Rowan of Gondor. Some men are just meant to have beards. I think you're one of them. That's always been kind of the logic I operated under, too. That phrase is 50 years old. That's true. So what you're saying is the people who said never trust anyone over 30 are now far above 30? Sounds like a thing. Keep the long hair? Well, I'm at least going to keep the long hair through the next presidential election. That much I know for sure. I have no plans to cut my hair before the end of 2020. Why? Stupid reasons. Politics. And I'm sure everyone would love to hear my thoughts on politics. Yes, we are a political free zone here. But also, it was really just kind of me thinking at one point, I was like, you know, why don't I just grow out my hair? Once in my life, I could say, I've gone years without cutting my hair. Why not, right? Once in your life at least. Seemed like the right time to do it, so. I work for a video game studio. I can get away with this kind of thing. That's true. I remember that too, when Sapiens sheared off his beard. Yeah. I stream every Friday from noon to 1 p.m. Eastern, and then you can find the full schedule over on Lotro Stream. We have streamers all week long that stream here on Lotro Stream. Has Lotro ever criticized Strong for political reasons? No, we've always been a non-political entity ourselves. So I need to go, let me see. That's what I thought, the middle there. And then I'm sprinkling stuff elsewhere, but at least I want to go to the middle, and then we'll see where we end up from there. Nothing to announce per se on the premium housing, although I will say that our Palantirians got an opportunity recently, maybe within the last 24 hours, to see a thing, and that's cool. Alright, let me stop what I'm doing, because I'm about to ruin the image and the style that you're used to. Yo. I make money, see? World, are you ready for me? I'm a clown. I'm the new fool in town. My sound's laid down by the underground. Yep. Someone please clip this. Yeah, I'll make me world famous. Yeah. I remember I was in a Boy Scout camp, and it was a week-long camp, and I had brought some cassettes, and I traded my copy of U2's Joshua Tree for Digital Underground's, I think the name of the album was called Sex Packets. So, on audio cassette, nonetheless. I feel like I'm missing a thing. What am I missing here? Creep housing, Koru. What would you actually do for creepside housing? Like, what would you envision creepside housing to look like? It's an interesting idea, but I'm not really sure what you would actually do for creepside housing. Okay, I must be missing something here. Because I got the ring, and I'm not seeing on the map, but I'm not seeing it on the thing. So, I mean, I need to go... Is it up? Is it actually up on that cliff up there, maybe? If so, how do I get to it? I don't think I do. No news on Bull Roar. I know it's in the works, but I don't have an actual ETA to announce on that. Caves for creeps. Okay. Oh, Ryan, Extra Life, we crossed our 20,000 mark, and I'm going to be working through the coming days to get everyone their stuff, probably coming weeks, let me be honest. But I want to get everything done by the time the winter break hits. So, there you go. Justin, no word on a release date for the balance work, other than fairly soon here, but nothing to announce. It's not going to be in next week's patch, so I guess I could say that. Whether it makes it into the one after that, seems like a possibility, maybe. There's no way to get up there, is there? Oh, maybe there is. Maybe that's what I did wrong. Okay. Okay. Yeah, there we go. My vinyl collection is kind of ridiculous. I'm getting weirder all the time. Yeah. So, the short answer to your question is I have really heard of no plans at all to do creepside housing. I just am not even sure quite what the demand for something like that would be. I guess it would be interesting in theory, but does anyone really want that? Really? When do we get war pigs? Yeah. My gut tells me that PVMP housing would not actually be that power or that successful, but maybe I'm totally wrong. Maybe I'm totally wrong. That ain't right. That ain't right. Where am I supposed to be going here? I am not seeing that coin. Unless that's all the coin is? Light of the Lost? Honestly, I think, you know, a more nuanced answer to the PVMP housing question would be maybe it would be something that people would like, but probably not until we address a number of other more substantive PVMP concerns. So, all right, I think I'm just going to kind of have to stay where I am and figure out what I'm doing wrong here. So I think that's going to wrap it up for the show here today. I do not have the Ballad of Bilbo Baggins on vinyl. I do, however, have a Lord of the Rings record on vinyl. I could probably bring that to the show sometime. I got a whole bunch of Thelonious Monk, yeah. All right, that's going to wrap it up then with the Court of the Rings here today. I'll be back next Friday with more, and make sure to find the full schedule over on our Twitch page. We got a ton of streamers all week long, and I believe we even have some kind of changes in the works, so people kind of coming on and all the time. I don't know if Corey's on next, but I'd say there's a pretty good chance of it. I think so, right? Druid's Fire, you in chat? Is Corey on next? I think he's on next. At the very least, Druid's Fire will be on later today. Yes, Corey is up next. So stay tuned here on Lotro Stream for more. Have fun, everyone. Bye-bye.